if you want to change, if you want to become something new, learn something new, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of energy. It's not an easy task, and I feel like that's the main reason why a lot of people in this world just stay the same. You ever met someone? I feel like I know people from like 10 years ago. These are mainly like people that are older. Like I think my grandparents or even my parents to some degree, where it's like 10 years that went by, a decade has went by, and it feels like they haven't really changed a lot. And I understand, like, you're at that point when you're older, when you're in your 50s plus, like you're already, you know, fully developed. At least your mind is as a human being, right? But like, I still feel like no matter what, we should always be trying to change in some degree. We should always be trying to become something different or better, something better than who we are, because we are never going to be the best version of ourselves in every way. That's never going to happen. So if you really want to become something better and new in some degree, you have to put a lot of time and effort into doing it. It doesn't just happen overnight. And it's a scary process. It's a very scary process that has you questioning everything from time to time. And the reality is, like, you're not gonna change into something that you want right away or perfectly. It's always gonna be an up and down battle, just like life, just like everything is. Everything's gonna have it's gonna have its ups and downs, gonna have its good things and bad things. You know, by changing, you're going to have to let go of a lot of things and maybe even people. And but you're doing that to make room for new things and new people that you might not find these people for a long time, these things for a long time. It might you might have to spend a lot of time when you're changing into something new. A lot of times you're going to have to spend at least a little bit of time kind of in a no man's zone, no man's area type thing, and also kind of just like by yourself. I feel like if you're really trying to change and grow as a human being, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time with just you and really figuring out who you are and who you want to be. You know, I think when I look at myself, I'm in my early 20s still, so I have a lot of ways. I have a lot of things that I still want to change. I still have a lot of growth to to be done. I have a long way to go, but I personally have a journal, which I haven't really journaled for the last like 5 months of my life, only maybe like 12 times, compared to where I used to journal every single day for about a year and a half. And I am trying to get back into it now because it's very beneficial. I understand why I stopped, but at the same time, I wish I didn't. But all I can do now is just start up again. But I was rereading from like over almost a year and a half ago now, of some things I would talk about in my journal, and it's crazy how my perspective has changed about those things from a year and a half ago, and also just how much I've changed. Like I feel like I've become much more of a calm, collective person. I've been able to understand myself in a much better way compared to where I was a year and a half ago. And I just bring up journaling because I feel like journaling's a great way to be able to reflect on your growth, because you're writing down your thoughts, and then you can go back and reread those thoughts, a year and a half later, or even 10 years later potentially. Like, that's that's the beauty of it. So yeah, that's something I am trying to get back into doing every day, and I do plan on doing that. And yeah, I recommend it if you haven't tried it. But the point is that change, just to become something different, it's just takes a long ass time, and there's always going to be a lot of really tough days that you have to go through, where you have to decide, am I going to continue down this route that I put myself down to become something different, to something that I believe would be better than who I am now, or will I turn back around and go back down the path that I have walked for X amount of time? And that's something that, you know, you're going to come to that crossroad inevitably. There's going to be days and moments where you want to result or go back to where you once were and things that were once in your life that you feel are no longer beneficial or just not beneficial, but you turn back to it because that's what you're used to. And that's kind of why a lot of people don't change, is because they try to change and it doesn't work instantly, so they just go back to what they're used to, what they're comfortable with. And that's why I feel like most people just don't change. Most people just stay the same, but time keeps ticking, but in a lot of ways they aren't really evolving or learning or growing. And that's not who I want to be, and I feel like that's not who you want to be. But you have to just recognize like this is a journey of a lot of time and commitment and pain, but there is a bright side. There are bright days, you know. 100%. Like I when I look at my life compared to a year and a half ago, really the last like 2 years of my life is when I've really started to become something better. It's been a rocky path. Nothing's been perfect. I'm still, like I said, I'm still very far away from where I want to be in a lot of different ways. But there's some days like today in particular where I feel like yeah, like the reason I'm who I am right now is because of all those tough days, all those days that I didn't want to do the things I wanted to do, or I didn't want to do the things I know that I should do, but I did anyway, and that just pushed me down the route that I am now, where it's brought me to who I am today, where now I'm at a spot where I can continue to grow, and I can do it more confidently because of all those tough days I went through. And there will still be a million more tough days. Maybe not a million, but there'll be thousands of more tough days in my lifetime if I live a long life. You know what I mean? So yeah, but life will take you where it takes you, and in a lot of ways I do feel like we're not in control of a lot of things that happen, but we are in control of how we react to it. If you really want to change, just slowly put some effort into yourself every day, and try new things. Just try new things. If you want to become something different, you have to do something different. That's the main thing. That will always be the main thing. So I hope you have a good rest of your day.